Hey guys, how's it going? Super B 1996 here, and today I am presenting to you guys a very special video which I have been wanting to make since like last year, and I kind of held it back a bit so I could talk more about Rise of Phoenix 4 in this, but today I'm going to be talking about Rise of Phoenix for those that care, and I'm going to kind of talk to you about the development of Rise of Phoenix in general, like the entire series. Because I don't really feel like a lot of people know about the original games that much. They only really know about 4 because I've been talking about it out my freaking arse lately. So this is going to be quite a lengthy video, but I just kind of want to give you guys some insight on the development of the entire series and how it's been for me, and for the others that have worked on it in the past, kind of for me. But yeah, hopefully you will find this video interesting, and maybe it might make you more interested in the series, and maybe you might want to go and play the games after you finish watching this video, because the Rise of Phoenix games are not the best games. You know, they're not my fondest creations, unfortunately. They're not the most technological, advanced games on the planet, but after hearing this you'll understand why. So let's start from the very beginning. Many years ago, before I had even fathomed that I could even make a game, when I was in school, I used to draw little things on square grid paper. I used to draw like level designs and stuff like that for a platformer. I always wanted to make a platformer. The idea has always been in my head to make a platformer with a heavy storyline, and cause I don't really feel like there's a lot of those. You got Mario, but I want to make a game that's accessible and has a really big story for those that want to go even deeper with the game and stuff, etc. So I started to make this game, or I started the conception for the original Rise of Phoenix years ago. Like, I'm talking years ago. This game was just begging to be made. So what happened was I started coming up with a few ideas, and I think it was originally called Flare, George. And this reflects in Rise of Phoenix 3 and 4, where there's actually a character called Flare, and that's a reference to the original character name, etc, etc. So in 2013, when I first started college, I started using this game engine called GameMaker. And for those that want to start looking into game development, you have no doubt heard of GameMaker and what it is. It's very, very good-ish. I mean, I don't personally like it, but what you can do with, you know, with the engine is pretty damn impressive. If I'm to be correct, I think Undertale was actually made in that engine, so there you go. So we had to make a game for college, and it was a 2D game prototype. And yeah, I put a lot of time into it, and the prototype, I think I'll have an image of it on the screen now. It was pretty much like a ginger guy, which me and my friend made, and you just go around this level collecting like these weird little egg things. I think they were inspired by Jak and Daxter, because I was playing a lot of Jak and Daxter at the time. This game was simple. It only had like 5 levels. We had to literally just make a 5-level game for college, and basically I took this prototype home with me, and I began to work on it at home around early March 2013. Unfortunately, the prototype wasn't really working that well, so I decided to scrap it, and I started to make a GameMaker title called Sonic the Hedgehog Rise of Phoenix. Now, this was supposed to be like a Final Fantasy inspired Sonic game, like heavy story and stuff like that. Now, the guy who is currently working on Rise of Phoenix with me, he's been there since the very beginning, mentioned to me, why don't you make a completely original game? And I was like, yeah, okay, we can do that. So we decided to make our own original game, and we removed the Sonic the Hedgehog and just decided to call it Rise of Phoenix. So around May 2013, we kind of got ideas ready, and we knew what we wanted this game to be. And we was originally going to make it in GameMaker still, but unfortunately GameMaker just wasn't working out, and you had to pay to export it and stuff like that, and we just wasn't in the position to do that. We just wanted to make a game to test the waters. So we switched game engine, and we switched to the Stencil GameMaker, which I don't like it anymore, but it did help me get started all those years ago now. So Stencil is a pretty good game engine if you're brand new. and you literally have no clue what you're doing. That's kind of how I was. So really, Rise of Phoenix development started in May 2013. Now, the game was originally supposed to be really, really ambitious. It had some ambitious ideas. It was supposed to have hack and slash gameplay, proper gameplay, and for a little while, I didn't realise how much of a task that was going to be for someone that hasn't made a game before, and I kind of went into it a little bit stupid, and unfortunately, the game had to be scaled back. Originally, levels were a lot more open and diverse. Levels used to be so much more open and diverse. Literally, the levels used to be so massive. That's kind of how the levels will be in the next Rise of Phoenix game, Rise of Phoenix 4. So look forward to that. You know, just putting that in there. But because of the open and diverse levels, I had to split the game into 2 because of the memory. But even then, I couldn't do the open and diverse levels because the game would lag and the engine was just not good for that kind of stuff. So I had to make the levels really linear, unfortunately. But the game was split, and that was split into Episode 1 and Episode 2. Episode 1 released in October 2013, and Episode 2 came out in December 2013. Yeah, so Episode 1 did significantly well. It did really well, considering the amount of time it had in development. Episode 2 failed in comparison, because I only had like 6 weeks to develop that game, and that was a nightmare. It was split into 2, but Episode 2 was not that far developed when Rise of Phoenix Episode 1 was done. So that half of the game really wasn't done, unfortunately. So yeah. Then after we released the first Rise of Phoenix games, I kind of sat on it for a little while. Then I started to begin pre-production for Rise of Phoenix 2 in December 2013, once again using the Stencil engine. I had planned this game in a much smaller scale. Personally, Rise of Phoenix 2 is my favourite Rise of Phoenix game I've made. I really love the unique and diversity of it. I tried to make that game unique. I tried to make it really unique, and maybe a bit too unique. That was probably my mistake. That's probably my bad there. But who cares, really? I'm joking. But unfortunately, it was scaled back, and I do think it was probably for the best, because I didn't want to bite off too much than I can chew. And the game ended up releasing in July 2014, July 28th to be precise. The development of that game went well, but I didn't really put that much time into it. It was kind of one of these games I just wanted to get out there because I really wanted to work on Rise of Phoenix 3. Oh my god, I wasn't really thinking right back then as a game developer, I really wasn't. And then there was a few spin-off games like I had in my head after 2. There was Rise of Phoenix 10 Days of Hope, which was made, and I might release it one day, but at the moment, I don't think it deserves to be released, and there's reasons for that. Then you had Rise of Phoenix 2, Rise of the Dark Lord, or Rise of the Dark Master. That was supposed to be a direct sequel to Rise of Phoenix 2, never saw the light of day, unfortunately. Didn't even get past pre-production. And then there was Rise of Phoenix 1 Remastered, which included Rise of Phoenix Episode 1, Episode 2, and a few new levels packaged together in one nice tight package on Stencil. This actually got quite far in development, but I cancelled it in the end because I realised it just wasn't worth it. It really wasn't. It wasn't even really a remaster, it was just a physics kind of adjustment and a kind of collection, so what was the point? After that, after Rise of Phoenix 2 was released, I kind of had a break, and then I started to think about Rise of Phoenix 3 around September time. Around September time, I got my first computer, not my first computer, like my MacBook, using my student loan from college, and I used this MacBook to start producing Rise of Phoenix 3, and because of the more horsepower that the MacBook had over my really ancient PC, I was able to make Rise of Phoenix 3 10 times better than anything I'd made before. Rise of Phoenix 3 was planned to be a really big game, and it kind of actually did come out the way I wanted it to. It came out with cutscenes, more game modes, etc. You know, it was a huge success in my eyes. There were development troubles. I had struggles with it in the early days because I had no idea what I was doing, and it was actually originally going to be split. Rise of Phoenix 3 was going to have the exact same syndrome as Rise of Phoenix 1 and was going to be split into 3 episodes. But I managed to keep it all into one little package, and I'm so happy that I did. But I can tell you now, the file limit for Rise of Phoenix 3 is pretty much... I actually had to ask Kongregate.com to extend the file size thing for me, and that was an ordeal. That was a huge ordeal. Rise of Phoenix 4. Now here's the thing, Rise of Phoenix 4 was already being planned. Rise of Phoenix 4 was being planned from January 2015. Yeah, I was already thinking about Rise of Phoenix 4 while development Rise of Phoenix 3, and the same's actually happening now with me with Rise of Phoenix 4. I'm already planning the next major installment in the series, but I'm not going to say nothing on that yet, definitely not. Originally there was going to be a demo called Rise of Phoenix 3 Episode Lekra. That never saw the light of day, unfortunately. It was made, but I never ended up releasing it, unfortunately. I don't remember why, but I think it was bugs and other little things like that. Then after a really short development time, Rise of Phoenix 3 was released in April 2015, with only 6 months of development under its belt, or 7 months. I was quite surprised how quickly I was able to get this game out. I wasn't originally planning to get it out that fast, but the game just came together much faster than I had expected. Then I started making Rise of Phoenix Zero Forbidden Trinity. Now, I had to cancel this game, and I cancelled this game because Rise of Phoenix 3, as much as I love that game, it didn't do well in terms of getting an audience, and it really wasn't worth putting my time into a prequel game using the same old engine if it wasn't going to attract any people. So I had to scrap that, and I decided to go straight on with Rise of Phoenix 4. And for a couple months I had another break, and I started Rise of Phoenix 4 development in June, and pre-production lasted all the way till December. Now, Rise of Phoenix 4, for those who don't know, is the first Rise of Phoenix game to be built in a new engine, and a proper engine, and it's been used, or it's been created in Unity, and you know, it's one massive fun ride. But pre-production has lasted for 7 months, which is longer than any development cycle of any Rise of Phoenix yet, so that's incredible. But I can't really share too much more about Rise of Phoenix 4, but you know, development is going well for it, so that's all I can say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's just a little insight into the world of Rise of Phoenix development. You say what you will about my game. I know a lot of people have got a lot of negative criticism. I understand that. I can take criticism. But it's when people insult the little things in the game, you know, that actually affects me quite a bit, because believe it or not, a lot of time does go into it. I put a lot of time into, you know, I'm a game designer. I'm not an artist. I'm not an animator. I'm not a scripter. I was one guy working on my own. Now, luckily, I've got Leah-san helping out with the game, and a few other people on the back burner now. Before it was just me. So, you know, for those that have said stuff about Rise of Phoenix, you know, oh well. Oh well. That's all I can really say about that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, favourite, all that good stuff. And if you want to see any more Rise of Phoenix related videos of me talking about development or anything else, let me know in the comments. I shall speak to you guys later on.